Hey everybody, it's Leanne with Paper Heart Scissors, and I am finally back. I have been away for a while, and I wanted to show you how I achieved this beautiful, beautiful black background with the bright colored flowers on it from this Concord and Ninth Blossoms stamp set. So this set has made a dream of mine come true for quite a while because I have been wanting to do dark backgrounds with light colored flowers on them for a while. And in order to get the best coverage, I decided to follow Tim Holtz's rule and start with archival ink so I could temper that stamp. And I did that, and I cleaned everything off, and you can see that it's really black, but it's actually fine because I'm going to be using a lot of black ink today. And then I clean it off again later, and you can see that I'm not getting a lot off of the stamp. So I did ended up using it with some lighter colors. But I wanted to again give you some clues as to how to get the best results here. So I sped this up a little bit so you could see me go through the steps. But what I found out was that pigment ink is really ideal for this. When you can see that there's the archival ink and there's the Gina K right here, and these are my early attempts, and they really were terrible. I was not positioning the stamp right. I was not holding it down. And then I found the magical cure, and I started using stamping the dye ink 3 times in the stamp platform, and you really cannot achieve the beautiful solid background that I wanted without stamping this at least 3 times. So you are going to have a MISTI or some kind of stamp platform like Tim Holtz one here. So you can see I started with the archival ink, and now I've cleaned the stamp, and I am going to start fresh with Versafine so you can really see that this is tempered, and watch me quickly do this. With the Versafine, you can get a very, very rich, black, solid, gorgeously detailed background, the most detailed of all of the inks that I tried with this stamp. But you have to do 2 stampings to get the coverage. So you'll see, even with that much ink on that stamp, and you'll notice so it's pretty good, you guys. It was so much better than my first tries. And then I went in and I put another layer down, and this is where it really started to get good. And you can see how beautiful those 2 layers of ink are. It is really perfect. I think there's one little spot, and I could take a Fantastic and just add a little bit of Versafine in there, and nobody would even know. So then I went to the Gina K, and maybe my stamp pad was just dry. I really like Gina K inks, but I was having problems getting the coverage that I was getting with the pigment ink, and so I had to do 3 passes. Now I did not find that was true with every ink pad that I use. So you're going to always do 2. In some cases, it might be 3, and that might be just because your stamp is not juicy enough, and it needs some re-inking, or it could just be the paper and the formulation. I'm doing this all, by the way, on Nina Solar White 110 pound for these fronts. And you can see it's pretty nice, but to get it to where I wanted it to be, where it's like the Versafine and it is that solid velvety black, I did need to ink it up 3 more times and really manhandle it. Really give it some pressure, and just load the ink on there, get as much ink as you can on that stamp, and make sure that you're pressing down evenly everywhere, and that you've re-registered your piece of paper as well in exactly the same spot, because you don't want those double lines. If you do end up getting some of those double lines like I did, you can take a black India ink marker and you can draw it and trace those in. But if you want the very fine detail like I was looking for today, it's got to be perfectly registered, and it's hard because it's got so much ink on it. It's picking that piece of paper up, and if you want a full sheet, you've got to do it. So you can see there's just that one little area, and I went back in and I hit that again, and then it was perfect. So you can make this work. The stamp is beautiful. It's just big, and you really have to be, conscientious when you're inking it. So, and I was getting a little bit afraid. So this is not the most exciting thing, but when you see the results in just 1 second, that to me was really exciting. I've just been making so many cards with this, and I'll show you some great examples. So you can see how beautiful that is, and that is dye ink, and that is going to dry faster, and it's a slightly different color than the Versafine. So you can see the Versafine's a little more yellow, and the Gina K is actually a little more red. So it's just got a slightly different cast to it. You can choose which black you would like. With this stamp, it really does make a difference. So you can see down there, there are the 3 inks. Those are all stamped a number of times. So the Versafine is my favorite. It is a really velvety, deep black. The Gina K is a little more yellow, again, nicer and a little bit warmer, a little more red yellow, but very rich and great. And then the Archival is there on that side as well, and that was with a number of tries, and it's closer to the Versafine color. You can see the level of detail here with that Versafine. It is really outstanding. And the Archival has a lot of detail as well, but again, I think my pad was a little bit dry, because you can see that there's some spots in there that I just could not get to fill. And it's got that, because it is waterproof and it is oil-based, it has a sheen to it. Now here is the Simon Says stamp Smoke, and that is stamped 2 or 3 times as well, and it is just a beautiful gray, and I think it's a gorgeous background as well. A lot of great detail. And then this one I actually used Mama Elephant Plumberry pigment ink, and I let that dry, and then I put some Merlot on top. I wanted it really saturated. So that's 2 layers, and I think it really could have used a 3rd, and that would have taken care of that. So now on to the good stuff. And these are the cards that I ended up making with the background with the red flowers. I used some of the dies that were also for the holidays in the October Concord and 9th release. I cut the J and the Y out of about 4 layers of that cardstock, and I added that, and that's very dimensional, and the frame that is sitting on top. And then the wreath is cut out of fun foam and glitter paper that was adhered on top, and I added some stickles on top of the in the little berries and in the centers of the flowers. I really love this card. It is one of my favorites. I think I might have to mass produce this one for the holidays. I think it is great. This one also uses alt new inks, and I used the little pine cone those little pine needle swatches, and the Mary die that was also in the October release. And you can use a black background or a red background and match your inks to your papers, and it's just wonderful. This is a thank you card. Wanted to show more spring colors. Again, the light colors look wonderful with the black. These two examples, I actually partially die cut the flower off of one panel and used the panel on the top and the bottom. So if you look at the full panel, it's actually one background piece that I made. And so 2 cards out of 1 background, which is always awesome. And using that accompanying die to do that die cut around the edge and then just cut a straight line from there. And then our fall or other kinds of greetings, I wanted to use the barnwood background and that fun plaid stamp and cut some of the flowers out and try some really different colors. And this is what I ended up with. And I particularly love the one on the right with the burgundy and the fire brick ink from Alt New and the sapphire blue and the Merlot background, the Salmon Says Stamp Merlot background that is also on the season die cut. And then again, the fire brick is on the back, the Concord and 9th barnwood background, and that is a Gina K fired brick piece of cardstock as well. And that finishes up the cards. I really, really loved making these and showing you guys some of the successes and the failures that I had. But you can see, you know, I ended up with 8 cards here and did a lot of exploration and had a lot of fun with trying to get that background so pristine and rich and dark, and I just am so happy with this stamp. So the one caveat is make sure that you're using some kind of stamp platform. Pigment inks work more easily than the dye inks because you only really have to do 2 layers. You really got to press down and work it, and then it's really your heart's desire. And I'm just showing you some of the dimension there on those cards. So that is all from me for today. I will be back soon. I promise I will not be gone as long as I was this last summer. I had 2 deaths in my family, and I really missed making cards and sharing stuff with you guys, but I had so much going on with that and work. If you want to see more examples, please visit my blog, and if you haven't subscribed to me yet on YouTube, please do. I will be back. We're going to have a subscriber contest. During the summer, I actually passed 2,000 subscribers, and I can't believe it. It's so great. I love sharing cards with you guys, and I will see you again really soon. There are a couple of other cards on the end card of this video that you can see for the holidays, and I hope to see you all back here really soon. Take care. Bye-bye.